call Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. All glory and honor to Yahweh in the name of his son Yahweh Shah. Fisherman for Zion back with another video through the spirit of power Shah. Don't count this as a light thing to do. All glory and honor to Yahweh in the name of his son Yahweh Shah. Shabbat Shalom to the hopeful elect, the Israelites scattered abroad, across the earth, peace and blessings. Lord willing, you enduring, forsaking the flesh and the cares of the to the best of your ability. Fisherman for Zion back with another video through the spirit of power of Yahweh Shah. Brother Hosea, Lord willing, this is edifying to you. Peace and blessings to all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We're going to get straight into it. Shabbat Shalom again. The title of this is The Foundation of a King, Born of Righteousness, Temperance, Prudence, Justice, Fortitude. So through the spirit of power of Yahweh Shah, going into talking to kings, because a lot of times, you know, you hear the Israelites call themselves kings, mainly the men, you know. So if you are a brother that call yourself a king, or if you call another brother a king, these are very important things to take heed upon and to think about through the spirit of power of Yahweh Shah. But before we get into it, I'm gonna get this foundation precept real quick through the spirit of power of Yahweh Shah. This is Psalms. This is the book of Psalms. So like the book of Psalms, chapter 122. And I'm gonna start at verse 1, and it reads, Shalom to the saints, spirit of power of Yahweh Shah. Shabbat Shalom. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 122, and I start at verse 1, and it reads, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord Yahweh. So we got to continue to be glad in these last days, regardless of what's going on around us, regardless of what's going on in our households, regardless of what type of afflictions and tribulations that we dealing with. We got to continue to have the spirit and the mind to continue to be glad in these last days. So we continue to have that spirit and anything that try to keep us from being glad, because I mean, this quick precept in Deuteronomy. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, and I'm gonna verse Deuteronomy 28:47, and it reads, because thou servest not the Lord Yahweh thy most high God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou thine enemies, which the Lord Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst, in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So we wasn't glad, you know, as a nation. All 12 tribes, you know, we wasn't thankful, we wasn't serving the Lord with joyfulness. So therefore the Lord gave us over to our enemies to subdue us. So nevertheless, like the title is, I'm not trying to be before you long. Lord willing, this is edifying, the foundation of a king, throne of righteousness, temperance, prudence, justice, fortitude. So if you call yourself a king as a man, or if you call another brother a king, or an elder, or a leader, or your father, if you have a father, or whatever, you know, you have to understand the concept and the dynamics that goes along with that. So I want to get this in Proverbs real quick. This is the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 20, and I'm going to start at verse 8. Proverbs chapter 20, and I'm going to start at verse 8, because the Most High Yahweh, he's the ultimate king, you know. And the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans being in his image, you know, we have to understand what comes along with that, you know. Because just like a father, you wouldn't want your son just tarnishing your name or your legacy. You know, you wouldn't want your son just roaming around looking any type of way. You know, you want him to carry himself like a king. You know, and so that's how the Most High Yahweh, he wants us, as well as his son Yahweh Shah, the Messiah, the Anointed. You know, so me having sons, I have to, you know, instill all of the things that, you know, will help them progress in becoming kings, you know, as sons, you know, as little infants, all the way up to toddlers, all the way up to, you know, the middle school stage, all the way up to, you know, high schooling. You know, it shouldn't be okay. You take time off. You know, it's got to be training them to the point and to the level of that perfection, because the Lord told us in Genesis 17 chapter, in verse 1, you know, as Abraham walked perfect, you know, not saying we're not gonna make mistakes, but we gotta continue to strive, because the Most High, you know, He has a standard. So if you have a son, or even if you're a brother and you have another brother, or whatever the case is, you have to look at these things with an outlook of value and respect and honor and integrity. I want to get this real quick. Chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 40, and it reads, "Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is heaven is perfect." So we gotta be therefore perfect, you know, striving for that. Even though we're gonna fall short, even though a just man falleth 7 times, as it says in Proverbs, you know, even though we're gonna have moments where we're gonna get tested and we might not pass those tests, but it doesn't stop us from trying to reach that next level, because you know, as a king, it's a lot that weighs on their shoulders. You know, a lot of responsibilities. Kings have things that they have to look after. Kings have things that they have to give judgment in. You know, kings have inventory. You got to deal with inventory. You got to know how many this you got, how many that you got, what you don't have, what you do have. So it's not just saying you're a king. You have to understand the dynamics of that. Now, I want to get this in Genesis. I already quoted. This is Genesis. You know, we have many of our forefathers that we can look towards. This is Genesis chapter 17, and I'm gonna start at verse 1. Genesis chapter 17 and verse 1, and it reads, "And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord Yahweh appeared to him and said unto him, I am the Almighty Most High God. Walk before me and be thou perfect." So our forefathers, they knew the assignment, you know, and so just because we haven't seen signs and wonders and visions, or even did miracles ourselves, that don't mean we can't just look at this same way. You know, we have to look at this and apply it the same way, because it's very important. Now I want to get this, like I call it in Proverbs. This is Proverbs chapter 20, because the Most High Yahweh, He's a king, you know, and He's sitting on His throne. There's no wickedness on His throne. There's no malice. There's no idolatry on His throne. It's not Him just worshiping, you know, Himself. There's no celebrating birthdays on His throne. It's no just counting His money on His throne. You know how people, they, you know, like to put their money out in the open and count it, you know, and kind of boast in themselves, you know. On the throne of a king, it's integrity, it's morals and standards, you know. It's not no a woman telling the Most Yahweh what to do. Wisdom is not up there telling the Most High, well, you know, you should do this, you should do that. Neither is Yahweh Shah being told what to do by a woman, you know. So a lot of brothers, they call themselves kings, but you know, at the end of the day, they don't really walk in that same manner. They don't really apply that. You know, you have to apply the word to your life, to your everyday living. The only way you're going to see a change is if you apply and you put that work in. You know, the only way you're going to see a change in your mind and your thoughts is if you apply, put this word in your mind. You know, control your spirit. And Lord willing, we'll go through all the dynamics and the foundation of what we need to have as men calling ourselves kings. Temperance, prudence, justice, fortitude, you know, especially if you're a man that has children, and if you got a woman, you know, or if you have many women, you know, but you got to understand these things, because it ain't just what it looks like on paper. You know, when you are doing it and actually putting forth your hand to it and the effort, you know, you got to look at, you know, a lot of things that a lot of people overlook. So this is Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 8, dealing with Yahweh, Him being the king, the Most High, the Almighty. Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 8, and it reads, "King that sitteth in the throne of judgment scattered all evil with his eyes." So it shouldn't be any evil just comfortable around you, just okay with being around. You know, you gotta have some type of restrictions, guidelines. You gotta have a hedge. You gotta have some good around you or something. You know, if you walking in the ways and trying to uphold yourself as a king. Not saying you're glorifying yourself or not saying humble, because we want to strive and have that humble mindset. But at the end of the day, we can't you know just have things around us that's not gonna mirror or resemble that throne of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So I'm gonna read this one more time. Proverbs 20:8. A king that sitteth on the throne of just gathered away all evil with his eyes. Now I want to get another precept real quick. This is Psalms. I'm gonna get Psalms real quick. Psalms 101. Psalms chapter 101, and I'm gonna start at verse 6, and it reads, Psalms 101 and verse 6. It says, my eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me. So the Most High laid it in front of us. He allowed it to be plain as day. So the faithfulness and the righteousness, that's praising the Most High and glorifying His name. He's gonna allow that to be a serving mechanism for Him. He's gonna allow that to stretch out His word. He's gonna allow it to stretch out His prophecies. He's gonna allow that to, whether it's a man prophesying, whether he might martyr, he might die for the Lord, like Peter or like Paul or like the man that he allowed to put his word out in the opening, John the Baptist. So reading this again, Psalms 1:6, my eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me. He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. So the Lord is going to scatter, and He's going to put out those that's doing deceit. They're not going to dwell in His house. So if you're a king and you got some deceit and wickedness, you have to look at it and say, I can't allow this to dwell in my house. If you're a man that strive to be a king, and walking after the ways of our righteous forefathers, because we had right, even though we had some kings that was going off, we had some righteous forefathers though that actually uphold the righteousness of the Most High. Let me see in the book of Sirach, in the Apocrypha, in Ecclesiasticus. This is Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, and I want to go to chapter. I want to get straight to the point. I don't want to spend too much time. This is Sirach chapter. I'm gonna start at verse 1. Sirach chapter 44, starting at verse 1, and it reads, let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. So we had mighty fathers that actually upheld and did righteous works. King David, Hezekiah. We had our forefathers that was on fire. So I'm gonna read down verse 2. Sirach, Ecclesiasticus and Apocrypha, chapter 44, verse 2. The Lord hath wrought great glory through His great power from the beginning, such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies, leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning, meet for the people, and eloquent in their instructions. So our forefathers was praised. They actually upheld the righteousness of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Now I want to go to chapter 49. And I want to go down to verse 4, getting straight to the point. Ecclesiastes chapter 49 and verse 4, and it reads, all except David and Ezekiah, which is Hezekiah, and Josiah were defective, for they forsook the law of the Most High. Even the kings of Judah fell. David, Hezekiah, and Josiah, as it says, you know, they was found righteous in the eyes of the Most High. You know, now we know King David, he fell short. You know, was tempted by the adversary. And when you read First Kings, I believe it's the 21st chapter, as well as Hezekiah. You know, it's not saying these men never fell short a day in their life. You know, it's a thing that you have of repentance. When you repent and confess your sins and your errors, and you turn back to the Most High God, you know, a lot of things can be wiped clean, you know, and the grace and mercy of the Most High God, you know, like it says in Hebrews. So like Romans, you know, he will have mercy on whom he will have mercy. So a lot of our forefathers, you know, is looked at as righteous. Not all of them, but, you know, a good amount of them, you know, at one period of time, you know, King David, Hezekiah, Josiah. Now I want to go back to this. Psalms 101 and verse 7, and it reads, he that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. So the Lord, he doesn't like a tongue that speak lies. So I want to get this in Proverbs real quick, because you know the Most High Yahweh, he is the ultimate king, you know, and his son Yahweh Shah, the Messiah, is sitting on the right hand of him, you know. So we're gonna touch on Yahweh Shah next, you know, and things that we should have, because a lot of people, they like to tell lies, you know. If you a man, you calling yourself a king, and you just willfully speak lies, you trying to protect somebody's feelings, or you trying to protect relationship with somebody, you got to check yourself, you know. You got to check if you have a respect of persons. You got to check yourself to see if, you know, that spirit on you is just wanting to just tell lies, you know, which is an abomination in the eyes of the Most High. Proverbs chapter 6, and I'm going to start at verse 16. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 10, and it reads, these 6 things do it the Lord Yahweh hate. So if you ever hear somebody that says the Lord don't hate, well, you just gonna have to be straight up with them, be like, hey, you don't know the Bible, you know, because what king wouldn't hate anything, you know? You should hate something, you know, and it's gonna tell us what the Lord hates, you know. Proverbs 6 and 16, these 6 things do it the Lord hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. So we can't have a proud look, you know. Our outlook is right, you know. We're in the right spirit, and lying tongue, you know. So we can't be bearing false witness, and we 10 times over shouldn't be bearing false witness dealing with our brothers and sisters, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. A lying tongue and hands that shed innocent blood. So hands that shed innocent blood, that always goes back to judgment, you know. So you gotta have, like the title says, you gotta have some justice. You gotta have a righteous judgment. It can't be no respected persons. It can't be no taking a gift, you know. And that's what goes on in the court system, you know. Man get away murder. He don't you know, kill 20 people, you know. Hey, you sit all the time in these dealing with these rappers. Somehow they beat all of these charges, and they're just getting paid, you know. He's getting the bag, letting them get away with a lot of stuff. This is why this place got to be destroyed, because it's no righteous judgment here. Let me get into Hosea the 4th chapter real quick. You know, this is why Babylon the Great gotta be shut down, you know, because hey, it's no truth, no justice, it's just wicked. This is in chapter 4 and verse 1, and it reads, "Hear the word of the Lord Yahweh, ye children of Israel, for the Lord Yahweh hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of Most High God in the land." So there's no truth here. It's nothing but straight lies, hypocrisy, you know, false doctrines, heresies, you know, just anything that can keep the Israelites from, knowing who they are and knowing what's really going on and knowing the truth. That's what America promotes. Hosea chapter 4 verse 2. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood toucheth blood. Therefore the land mourn, and every one that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. So, hey, it's nothing but innocent blood shed in America. It's nothing but lying, killing, stealing, and hormones and adultery going on, as well as many other things, idolatry. You know, everywhere you go, everywhere you turn is nothing but demonic wickedness being promoted. So going back to Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 16, and it reads, these six things doeth the Lord Yahweh hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, and heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift and running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. And so, hey, we can't be doing this as kings and children of kings. The Lord said he's a king of kings and a Lord of lords. So we have to make sure we have the same image and the outlook that Yahweh upheld and what stands on, as well as Yahweh Shah. Now I want to get this in Psalms. This is Psalms chapter 99, and I'm gonna start at verse 4. Psalms 99 and 4, and it reads, "The king's strength also loveth judgment. Thou doest establish equity. Thou executest judgment and righteousness in Jacob." So who's on the throne and allow things to be pushed out and done from the highest level? The Most High Yahweh has the angels doing their duties. So just like you go to the courthouse, you got a judge, and before he comes in, you got people that's getting the paperwork situated, and you got lawyers that might come in, and they might pull somebody to the side before their name being called, and all of this stuff is being done before the judge comes in. So Yahweh Shah, he got things on a level where, before, judgment is put out, he can represent you, represent the so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans that elect, on a sense of a lawyer. Now I want to get this in 1 John while I'm speaking about it. This is 1 John, because we have an advocate with Yahweh Shah. It's John. I want to start at 1 John chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 1, and it reads, 1 John chapter 2 and verse 1. "My little children, these things write I unto you, that ye sin not." So no, we shouldn't be seeking to go before the judge, to be charged for murder, to be charged for adultery, to be charged for manslaughter, to be charged for just all type of wickedness that you can get charged with. That ye sin not, and if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, the righteous. So we have that advocate. He's going to represent, the hopeful elect. He's going to represent on behalf, for the seed of Jacob, the Israelites. Now, Yahweh Shai, hey, he's a king as well, sitting on the right hand of his father. Now I'm going to get this in Revelation. This is Revelation chapter 19. Revelation chapter 19, and I'm going to start at verse 16, and it reads. Matter of fact, I'm going to start verse 13, Revelation 19 and verse 13, and it reads, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treaded the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God Most High. Verse 16, get to the point. Revelation 19 and 16. And he had his vesture, and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So within us calling ourselves kings, Yahweh Shai is the King of Kings. You know? So he's the King of King David. He's the King of King Solomon. You know, even though we know, according to regeneration, we understand Yahweh Shai being Solomon, dealing with the regeneration, and King of Hezekiah, King of Manasseh, you know, King of Kings, you know. So I want to get a quick precept right quick, because what we just read, I want to go back to this right quick in Psalms 99. This is Psalms chapter 99. I'm going to read this one more time. Psalms 99 and Psalms 99 and verse 4. King's strength also loveth judgment. Thou doest establish equity. Thou executed judgment and righteousness in Jacob. So righteousness with Yahweh and with Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach. There's righteousness with the Lord not being wicked, you know. And Yahweh Shai, he wasn't found guilty of any charges, any sin when he was on the earth, when he was walking the earth. You know. So this is who we have to look after. Even though we want to fall short as Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, continue to strive to look at our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, Lord willing, you know, as far as the hope for the elect being redeemed, we got to look at that the same way, saying, okay, I got to walk like him, you know. I got to hold and proclaim and put righteousness in the forefront like him. Now, I want to get Proverbs 16. Because this is a, you know, an outlook on men walking. We call ourselves kings, you know, or if somebody else calls me a king or somebody else calls another man a king. This is Proverbs chapter 16. And I'm going to start at verse 12. Proverbs 16 and 12, and it reads, it is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness. So it's an abomination, you know. So you shouldn't want to be charged or found, you know, with somebody saying you hit a woman, or somebody saying you did a hit and run, or somebody saying you was known for stealing, you know. Hey, Yahweh Shai, hey, he's gonna represent us on that, you know. Take away those charges, you know, as we repent and stay on a straight and narrow path for righteousness. You know, but as we get cleaned up, and as we continue to clean ourselves up, and as we continue to strive and live a life that's pleasing in the sight of the Most High, to the best of our ability, you know, as a king, you know, it should be an abomination in your sight. You know, you gotta uphold a standard. Say, you know, I have a lot of responsibilities. You know, and some may not have as much responsibilities as others, but on the same line, you got to be ready to give judgment. You know, this is why it's important to be sober. You know, have a clear mind, have a ready mind to judge matters that judges and kings had to judge. You know, and to be, you know, swift on your feet. You know, and to be ready. You know, to glorify the Most High and to represent You know, those that you are leading, you know, that you are over. You know, if you can understand. This is Proverbs again, chapter 16 and verse 12. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness, not by wickedness. You know, you can't establish that throne by wickedness. You know, just like other nations. You know, they might have murdered another king, or they got that seat by another king. You know, so you I had a precept in mind, but it's all right. But you can't have that same outlet like the heathen have. You know, they like to do wickedness towards others to be able to get that seat, to get that rulership. So reading this one more time, Proverbs 16 and 12. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. So the Lord's throne is established by righteousness. You know, Yahweh Shem Yahushua throne is established by righteousness. You know, there's no wickedness with the Lord. You know, there's no the Lord did this or the Lord did that, and he was known for going off. You know, hey, that's not the case. Let me get this in First Peter real quick. First Peter chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 21. The Messiah never sinned. You know, and the same thing that he and how he carried himself, that was, you know, the closest you gonna get to the Father. So this is First Peter chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 21, and it reads, First Peter 2 and 21. For even hereunto were ye called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. So we should follow after the righteous steps. You know, we should follow after, you know, not being guilty of anything. You know, and if we are falling short, you know, we repent. You know, like Luke 5 and 32 says, the Messiah didn't call the righteous, but sinners to repent. So now, 1 Peter 2 and 22. Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. You know. So he did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. You know, so as we just read in Proverbs 16 and 12, you know, it's an abomination if a king commits wickedness. You know, so the foundation should be you strengthening yourself, you building up yourself. You know, you moving in the ways of how our forefathers and the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahweh moved in. You know, and Yahweh Shah and the Most High, they're on the same page. You know, it's not, you know, one of them is kind of just feeling himself and he dealing with pride, and the other one's kind of just envying the other one. Nah, that's not how Yahweh and Yahweh Shah, not how they move and work together. You know, let me get this in St. John chapter 10. This is the book of St. John chapter 10, and I'm gonna start at verse 30, and it reads, St. John chapter 10, and I'm gonna start at 30. I and my Father are one. Does this mean they the same? You know, no, this is not what it's saying. Let me get a quick precept right quick. This is not them saying that Yahweh Shah is the Most High God. You know, before we explain it, I'm gonna get another precept right. This is Matthew chapter 19, and I'm gonna start at verse 5. Matthew chapter 19, verse 5, and it reads, and Matthew 19 and 5, and it reads, and said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. So if a man and a woman come together, does that mean they're one? Does that mean the woman's the man and the man's the woman? A lot of people try to say in St. John 10 and 30, it says, I and my Father are one. A lot of people read that and they trip over all of these false doctrines and all of these wicked things that these Christians like to use. So as he said in Matthew chapter 19, reading it again, Matthew chapter 19 and 5, and said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore Most High God had joined together, let no man put asunder. So the man isn't the woman, and the woman isn't the man. They're one spirit, you know. They're joined together now. So as we go back to St. John chapter 10 and verse 30, I and my Father are one. They both are righteous. You know, just like what Yahweh Shai did when he was on the earth. He did that according to what his Father allowed him to do, what Yahweh allowed him to do. You know, he wasn't doing his own thing. He wasn't saying, yeah, my Father kind of let me down here, you know, so I'm about to wreak havoc. I'm about to do what I want to do. You know, he actually carried the commandments out. A lot of people don't want to get the commandments. You know, a lot of Christians don't want to get down with the commandments. But when you read the Bible, it tells you plain as day that the Messiah kept his Father's commandments. You know, that's why it says, I am my Father. Now I want to get another precept. This is St. John chapter 17, and I'm going to start at verse 21. St. John 17 and 21, and it reads, St. John chapter 17 and 21, that they all may be one, as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee, that they also may be one in us, that the world may believe that thou hast sent me. And the glory which thou givest me, I have given them, that they may be one, even as we are one. So this is not saying that Yahweh Shai is the Messiah. Yahweh, this is not saying that, you know. So a lot of people, they really don't understand. Now, according to the Greek, that's going into you can look this up. That's going into, I believe that word is neuter, which means one thing. It's not one person, it's one thing. So when you read St. John 10 and 30, it says, I and my Father are one. They're both righteous. You know, they both working on the same accord. Now this is let me get this in Amos real quick. This is Amos. This is Amos chapter 3 and verse 3, and it reads, can two walk together except they be agreed? So the Most High Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai, they walk together. They're on one accord. So when we read St. John 10 and 30, you know, it says, I and Father are one, is letting us know that they're on one accord. You know, they're one thing. So they're righteous. That, you know, a king, you know, sets up his son as a king, you know. So what King David do? You know, he gave his son the blueprint. So that's the same way how Yahweh gave Yahweh Shai the blueprint. I want to get this in John chapter 12. This is St. John chapter 12, and I'm going to start at verse 49. St. John chapter 12 and verse 49, and it reads, for I have spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me, he gave me a commandment, what I should say and what I should speak. So a lot of people, they don't want to keep the commandments. But here, plain as day, we're seeing the Messiah keep the commandments. We're seeing what his Father commanded him to do. You know, and like the word says, honor your mother and your father. You know. So, you know, we gotta apply this as men walking in the fashion of a king. You know, so reading down St. John chapter 12 and verse 50, and it reads, and I know that his commandment is life everlasting. Whatsoever I speak, therefore, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak. So he doing everything that Yahweh told him to do, you know, and commanded him to do. He didn't kind of say, well, I know you told me to do this, but I want to do this. You know, I think this would be better. I think this would go better right here. And I think this will be better in 2027, 2026. I think we should kind of speed things up, you know. Even when you go to Mark, let's go to Mark real quick. Mark chapter 13. Yahushua, the Messiah, don't even have a say so when he gonna come back to the earth, you know. So this is Mark chapter 13. I'm gonna start at verse 32, and it reads, "But of that day and that hour, no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, the Son, but the Father." So, we as Israelites, so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we gotta move in the same way, in the same fashion, you know, from the Almighty, you know, the righteous kings, Yahweh and Yahweh Shah, you know, everything that Yahweh told Yahweh Shah to do, he did it, you know, got it done, you know. So he made Israelite man as a king. Now I want to get this in Revelation real quick. This is Revelation chapter 1 and verse 5, and it reads, Revelation chapter 1 and verse 5. "And from Yahweh Shah Mashiach, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead," because he overcame, you know, the grave, you know, rose on the third day, "and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood." So now we don't have to deal with being put to death for breaking laws. That's dealing with the judgment of being put to death, being stoned, you know, committing adultery, you got to get killed, things like that. You know, we have a way to repent and turn from our wicked ways and accept the lamb that was slain for the Israelites. Revelation 1 and 6. "And had made us kings and priests unto Most High God and his Father." So yes, the Israelite man, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man is a king, you know. And this is to show the value and the things that we got to uphold, you know, because it's more than just calling ourselves kings, you know. We have to look at the word and apply it, you know, as a king. So as it says in Revelation 1 and 6, "and hath made us kings and priests," you know, the hope for the elect, "unto Most High God and his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever." Amen. So we got to look at this the same way. Now, I want to get this in First Kings real quick. Cause forefathers, they actually, you know, sat in the seat of a king. Now Solomon, I want to get this in First Kings chapter 4, and I want to start at verse. I'm gonna start at verse 1. First Kings chapter 4, verse 1, and it reads, "So King Solomon was king over all Israel, and these were the princes which he had: Azariah, the son of Zadok, the priest, Elahorith, and Ahiah, Ahiah, for pronunciation, the son of Shishah, scribes, Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahalud, the recorder." So he had princes and he had things established and set up. Now, when you read Deuteronomy chapter 1, you know, Lord willing, we'll touch on it a little later, but you know, it's an order in things. Now, I want to get this in 1 Corinthians. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14. So our forefathers had in order, you know. So even you, by calling yourself as a king and walking in the ways on trying to better yourself, and how we can value our lives as kings, as men, the Israelite men, you know, we have to have things in order, you know. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 14, and I'm going to start at verse 4, and it reads, "Let all things be done decently and in order." So we have to have things being done decent and in order, you know. So as you read 1 Kings chapter 4, you know, Solomon had princes set up. He had officers set up. You know, and we go down to I'm gonna go down to verse 29. First Kings chapter 4, and I'm gonna start at verse 29, and it reads, "And Most High God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding, exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country, all the wisdom of Egypt." So when you sitting on his throne, you know, it's things that you will have to use, you know. So what good is it calling yourself a king if you're not using things to be able to have uh righteousness going about around you, you know? Unless your kingship and your rulership is wickedness and demonic, you know, and say Satan worshipers around you, you know. So as we read earlier in Proverbs 16, that it's an abomination to have wickedness around you as a king, and to have wickedness, uh, roughly paraphrasing, says it is abomination to kings to commit wickedness. Even as a king, you shouldn't want to commit wickedness. So you shouldn't want to have that around you. Now I want to get First Kings chapter 3. And First Kings chapter 10, I want to go to verse 6. First Kings chapter 3, verse 6, and it reads, "And Solomon said, Thou hast shewed unto thy servant David my father great mercy, according as he walked thee in truth and in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart with thee. And thou hast kept for him this great kindness, that thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. And now, O Lord Yahweh, my most high God, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in." So these are things that we should be mainly speaking of, and looking in the same mannerisms, you know. Even if you're a father, even if you're a uncle or a brother, you know, you might others around you, you know. So we come into the truth and we look at things, you know, like, Father, I don't know how to, just mainly speaking on how Solomon is speaking. Lord, I don't judge. Lord, I don't know how to do this. Lord, I don't know how to do this. Can you increase, you know, me on behalf of righteousness? These are things that we should be asking for. Can you increase my judgment, increase my discernment? Can you increase my spirit of circumspect? You know, taking heed, being aware, giving decent judgment. You know, this is what Solomon is asking for. You know, so he said, I don't know how to come in and go out. You know, so he's like, how in the world am I supposed to judge? You know, when they come at hand. You know, so you might be a husband. You might have to deal with stuff. You know, you might deal with all type of adversity. You know, you have to be able to carry out righteousness. You know, in your household, in your congregation. If you dealing with a camp, if you a man that has a high seat, that has other congregations around you, or even if you by yourself, you know, the Lord might just be looking to see how you moving by yourself. You know, he might test you. He might be saying, I need to see if I can trust him, even though we understand predestination. Like when you read Romans the 8th chapter, 28 and 29 verse, the Most High foreknew. Even when you read Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5 and 6, you know, the Lord knew what was going to happen before it even happened. But we still have to make our calling and election sure. You know, before the Lord puts us in a seat to be the judge, you know, we gotta start building first. You know, we say, well, when you put me in this seat, Lord, you know, then I'm gonna make something happen. You know, like before, but like if you was an athlete, or if you want something, before the coach put you in the game, he had to see what you was gonna do in practice. He wasn't just about to put anybody out there and they ain't, you know, did nothing in practice. you know. And you might fold dealing with the real thing. So if the Lord give you, you know, a seat to sit on the throne, you know, afflictions that you've been going through, those was tests, you know. You having a little bit of money, you know, you dealing with divorce, you dealing with hardships, you dealing with relationships, you know. The Lord got to see how you gonna move before He put you on His throne, you know. So the Lord got to see how the Israelites gonna move and what they're gonna do in the wilderness before they get the kingdom, you know. So you being a king, you being a father, you being a husband, as a man, you know, you gotta move in a sense, and you gotta take every day and look at it and say, this is an opportunity for me to grow. I slipped and fell yesterday, but today I gotta right. I gotta do what I gotta do, and I gotta make it happen. I gotta make it happen today. You gotta have that mindset as a king, because your foundation gotta be in the Most High, believing and having faith, and keeping His orders. Now I want to get this in Colossians real quick. Colossians chapter 2. This is Colossians chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse 6. As ye have therefore received Hamashiach the Lord, so walk ye in Him. And we should be getting better and walking in the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Yahshua Hamashiach mainly, because He's the one that's going to bring us back to the Father. You know, you can read about that in Hebrews the 7th chapter. You know, Him being peace, you know, way better than the priesthood of Aaron, you know, and his sons. So we have to walk in this, you know. We have to walk in this. Just like He told His 12, follow me, you know. Just like He told the young rich man, you know. The young rich man told him in Matthew the 19th chapter, starting on down, I've honored my mother and father, kept the Sabbath, you know. I didn't no murder, no kill, no steal. So Yahweh told him, you know, as you read that chapter, you lack something, you know. Sell all that you have and follow me. He kind of put his head down, you know. So as a king, be worried about materialistic things. You know, Lord willing, we're gonna go through you know, go through the law. You can't be worried about materialistic stuff. You can't just be worried about heaping up women, you know, as a man. Your mind should be, you know, rooted in the Lord. Your mind should be trying to get closer to the Lord. Trying to get increasing your love for your nation, you know. Trying to increase on how you can judge matters come about. You know, I had a situation last week with my son. You know, I had to set the record straight. You know, I had to let him know I'm teaching you this and this. So when you become a man, as I was telling him, if we're still in the land of the living, if the Lord hasn't came back yet, you need to carry out these matters. If I'm around or if I'm not around, you know. And you have to look at things from a child's perspective, even as an adult and a grown man's perspective as well. You know, you got to be able to look at both sides. You know, because we was once little before we became grown men. You know, so we have the understanding on wickedness, and now we have the understanding on righteousness. So with the understanding of righteousness, we gotta stray away from wickedness, and we gotta walk in the Lord, you know, in the righteousness, in His blood, in His sacrifices, in His liberty of righteousness. You know, it's not just only the laws, commandments, but it's also faith and believing in the Lord. This is Colossians 2 and 7, reading down. Rooted and built up in Him, and established faith. So our foundation is got to be rooted in the Lord. It's got to be rooted in the righteousness. You know, even when times get hard, we still believing. We don't see our way, but we still believing. Even when we weak, we still believing. You know, we still fighting. We still laboring. You know, even when we don't feel like laboring, we still laboring. You know, even when we don't feel like fighting, we still fighting. Because that's what he did. That's what the Messiah Yahweh Mashiach did for us, the so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So we be built up. We got to be rooted and built up. We constantly building. We constantly building. You know, we not just lusting after. King. I'm a king. You know, I call the shots. You know, hey, that's what the Lord said in Luke. Like he said in Luke, occupy till I come. You know, you're busy. You're occupied. You're not really worried. Well, you know, I kind of want some more gold. I kind of want another chariot. I kind of want some more horses. I kind of want another wife. You know, you constantly building on your foundation. Okay, all right, I want to get closer to the Lord. All right, I want to increase in faith. I want to increase in wisdom. I want to increase in knowledge. I want to increase in understanding. So I can love my brothers and sisters more. So I can understand them, what they're going through. So I can give counsel, you know. So I can issue out and carry out judgment. This is the mindset that we should have as men, as kings, you know. So Colossians 2:7, rooted and built in him, and established in the faith, as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. You know. So going back, 1 Kings chapter 3. 1 Kings chapter 3 and verse 7. And it reads, and now, O Lord, most high God, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David, my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or in. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. This is what he asked for, verse 9. 1 Kings 3 and 9. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this, thou so great a people? So this is the mindset that we have to have. You know, and as we touch on fortitude. Fortitude, as it says in the title, fortitude, that's a mental or emotional strength in facing something difficult, you know. And where can you read this at? This is in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8. So let me go to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8 real quick in the Apocrypha. So this is what you should be praying for. And they're still in the land of the living, still in the Most High's truth, while you still have the mindset to continue to increase and try to increase by the grace and mercy of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. As you continue to get closer and closer to the kingdom of heaven, while we still here, we should be praying for this. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8. And I'm going to start at verse 7, and it reads, and if a man love righteousness. Now, as we read in Proverbs, the 16th chapter, a king should want to be dealing with wickedness. You know, you should want to have righteousness around you, you know. This is why you got to check your circle. You shouldn't want to deal with any wickedness, you know. So you should love righteousness. You should want righteousness around you. Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 7. And if Anne love righteousness, her labors are virtues. Talking about wisdom. That's why I said her, you know, because wisdom is likened to our mother, you know, likened unto our wife, you know. Now let me get a quick precept right quick before we move on. This is Proverbs. I want to start at Proverbs. Let me see. It's a couple of them that I can get, but I just want to get straight to the point. I don't want to be too long. This is Proverbs chapter 4, and I'm going to start at verse 7. It reads, so like I'm going to start at verse 6. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 6. Forsake her not, and she preserve thee. Love her, so like it, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. See that? Now I want to get another precept. Let me see. I'm gonna get another one. Proverbs chapter 9 And verse 1, wisdom, Proverbs chapter 1, verse 1, wisdom had builded her house. She had hewed out her 7 pillars. She had killed she had mingled her wine. She had also furnished her table. She had sent forth her maidens. She cried upon the highest places of the city. And so that's what the brothers are doing when they're on the highways and byways. They're proclaiming and issuing out wisdom, you know, which also goes into the Holy Spirit on another level. Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 3 again. She had sent forth her maidens. She cried upon the highest places of the city. Who is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that wanted understanding, she said to him, come, eat of my bread and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. So going back, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8. And Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8 and verse 7 again. And if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues, for she teacheth temperance and prudence, justice and fortitude, which are such things as men can have nothing more profitable in their life. So you can have nothing more profitable in your life, regardless of whatever you value, besides fortitude, prudence, justice, and temperance. And so we're going to go through it. Now, fortitude, that's dealing with mental, and you can look these up. That's dealing with mental or emotional strength, facing something difficult. That's fortitude. Now, prudence, dealing with discernment, judgment, planning ahead, thinking before you speak. That's prudence. Now, justice is just behavior or judge, you know, dealing with judgment. That's justice, you know, like how people used to say, no justice, no peace. When we always had, or when we always continue to have somebody getting shot down the street, you know. And then temperance, that's dealing with self-control, you know, moderation in action, and dealing with thoughts, you know. So we're just going to touch on a couple of them. Now, fortitude. Now, I want to get this right real quick. So, as a king, this is something that you should want to have. Fortitude. And you can kind of add more verses and more precepts to this, but I'm just, you know, just flowing through the spirit. This is First Chronicles chapter 28. This is what King David told Solomon. First Chronicles chapter 28 and verse 20, and it reads. First Chronicles chapter 28 and verse 20, and it reads. And David said to Solomon his son, be strong and of good courage, and do it. Fear not, nor be dismayed, for the Lord Yahweh Most High God, even my Most High God, will be with thee. He will not fail thee, forsake thee, until thou hast finished all the work for the service of the house of the Lord Yahweh. So that's dealing with fortitude. And again, fortitude is dealing with mental or emotional strength and facing something difficult. So these are things that we should be praying for, you know, and building our foundation on waiting for the second coming of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, you know, and reading this in Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 7. This is something you read every day, you know, asking the Lord to increase your fortitude, your prudence, your justice, and your temperance, you know. So let me get one more. This is Joshua chapter 1 and verse 7, and it reads, only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law. Because there's going to be times, you know, while you're waiting on the Lord, where things is going to try to keep you away from the law, you know. It might be a family member, or it might be a loved one, or it might be a job, or it might be some type of financial strait, but you're found from keeping those laws, statutes, and commandments, and putting yourself in a position where you can grow closer to, you know, to where you can build yourself up, to where there's nothing a woman can say or do, you know, whether she stay or go, whether she forbear, There's nothing, no type of money can get you to sell out, you know. So, this is fortitude. This is what we should want dealing with our foundation, you know. Cause you see women all the time as a man, you know, you around money, you have most money, you make money, you know, you get weak, you get sick, you know, your back might hurt, you got a headache, you might not feel like doing the work of the Lord. But you got that too, you can deal with these emotions. You can deal with fighting through a lot of stuff. So this is the foundation, that this is what we want on our foundation. As we call ourselves kings, and as we call another man or another elder or leader or father or brother, whoever, a king. We got to have this in our foundation. We got to be building upon this. So reading this again, Joshua chapter 1 and verse 7, only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. And if somebody tell you, or if you hear a Christian that says that's impossible, well, you got to tell them, with men it's impossible, with the Most High God it's not impossible. And you should be having and applying the ways of integrity upon. I can love my brothers and sisters. I can take care of my children. I can take care of my woman. I can make an honest dollar. I don't have to steal. I don't have to murder. I don't have to rob nobody. So I can keep the laws that I don't have to listen to my flesh. I can get in a word and I can call on the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. I can call on the name of the Most High. I can tell Satan to get behind me. So I can keep the commandments. Not just listen to what everybody else says. So it says, which Moses my servant turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. Money isn't going to always make you prosperous, because a lot of people sell out, and you get a bad name, you get a bad look, you get a bad reputation. Just because you got money, you ain't gonna be allowed to go everywhere. But when the Most High, when He put that spirit on you, when he put that zeal on you, when He put that spirit on you, that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and you use that, and you glorify Him, you magnify the Most High, you stay humble, you don't try to seek preeminence, you don't try to look down on a brother. You're not trying to tell another brother what to do, because a lot of men, they like to reign over men, and they like to lust after that, telling us to do, oh, you need to do this or you need to do that. The only way you should be doing it is if it's from the Most High. Truth and sincere and honest about it. Because a lot of men, they may possess that austere spirit. They may that that rulership spirit that the Most High gives, but you can't use that and abuse that. You got to do it according to how the Most High allowed it to be done. So dealt with fortitude. Now you got prudence. And again, a fortitude is dealing with mental or emotional strength and facing something difficult. Now prudence is discernment. That's dealing with judgment. That's dealing with planning ahead, thinking before you speak. So you have to have discernment. You have to have judgment. And a lot of people, they may not be able to deal with that. Now, man, it's many precepts that I want to go to. We can deal with how Jethro was trying to tell Moses, more men to be able to judge matters. You can go that route in the law. You can go with Daniel when he judged the matter of Susanna when she was being lied upon. But I'm gonna just keep it simple through the Spirit. I want to go to. I want to get this right quick. Let me see. I want to get this in Numbers. But history of Susanna, that's a mighty one too. That's a mighty one too. But you can read that history of Susanna because Daniel actually came to judge the woman when the elders was wickedly lusting after her and trying to lay down with her. So I want to get this real quick. I want to get this in the law. Let me see if I can find this real quick. I just quoted it. Let me see. If I can't find it in a timely manner, I'm gonna just go to what I was just talking about. This is Exodus chapter 18, and I'm gonna start at I'm gonna get straight to the point. Exodus chapter 18, and I'm gonna start at verse 13 and reads. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood by Moses from the morning until. So Moses, he dealt with prudence. Moses had discernment, you know. And so like you read it again, Exodus 18 and 13. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood by Moses from the morning until the evening. So this is a lengthy, you know, a lengthy duration of time. It says from the morning to the evening. You know, that's a lot of judging, you know. Verse 14, and when Moses' father saw all that he did to the people, he said, what is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning until evening? And Moses said unto his father-in-law, because the people come unto me to inquire of Most High God. Who has that mindset? Saying people come unto me to inquire of the Most High God. What brother, so like not sister, what brother or what father or what uncle or what cousin or what camp leader or man has this mindset? This is literally prudence at the highest level. You know, verse 16, when they have error, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another, and I do make them know the statutes of Most High God and his laws. So this is discernment, you know. It's many matters that took place, you know, and even with King Solomon, you know, when he dealt with those harlots, you know, when one kind of killed her child and tried to steal the other one, you know, King Solomon judged that matter, you know. So you got to have discernment, you know. You got to have discernment. So I'm going to get let me see. I want to get I'm going to get some laws on judgment real quick. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 25. Deuteronomy chapter 25. Deuteronomy chapter 25, and I'm going to start at verse 1, and it reads, if there be and this is dealing with prudence, you know, because you got to understand judgment. If you a king, you have to understand judgment. Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 1, if there be a controversy between men and they unto judgment, that the judges may judge them, then they shall justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. And it shall be, if the wicked man be worthy to be beaten, that the judge shall lie down and to be beaten before his face according to his fault by a certain number. 40 stripes he may give him, and not exceed, least if he should exceed and beat him above these with many stripes, then thy brother should seem vile unto thee. So you got to make sure that you're giving the right judgment, you know, and you don't want to be looked at as vile on your brother. You don't want to lose a brother. You know, you have to make sure things are done rightfully, you know, as well as it says in Leviticus 19, verse 15, you know. So I want to get this in Sirach chapter 31. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 31, and I'm going to start at verse 15, and it reads, so in the Apocrypha, chapter 31, verse 15, and it reads, judge of thy neighbor by thyself, be discreet in every point. So you want to do things in the sense of having it been righteous, you know. Now that's with prudence, that's with discernment and judgment. Now you got justice, you got just behavior, you know, and you got also prudence is dealing with planning as well as judgment, you know, and justice is just behavior. Now I want to get Leviticus chapter 19 real quick. Leviticus chapter 19 and start at verse 15, and it reads, "Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor." So you don't want to have a regard as somebody try to what's the word I'm looking for? Somebody try to use their power, you know, their power as a way of let me see, as a way of getting to the person that's giving judgment, or some type of money or a gift. Let me listen James chapter 2 real quick. This is the book of James chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at the top. James chapter 2 and verse 1, and it reads, "My brethren, have not the faith of our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, the Lord of glory, with respect of persons." So you want to make sure things is on a strict treatment, you know, on a strict judgment. Verse 2, James chapter 2, verse 2, "For if there come unto you," so like if there come unto your assembly a man with a gold ring and goodly apparel, and there come in also a poor man in vile raiment, and ye have respect to him that weareth the gay clothing, which the gay clothing is going into like sparkly or brilliant or outstanding appearance, something that might catch your eye, and say unto him, sit thou here in a good place, and say to the poor, sit there or sit here under my footstool. So you don't want to do that, you know. And this is what it's labeling it as. Verse 4, "Are ye not then partial in yourselves, and are become judges of evil thoughts?" So you don't want to be judges of evilness, you know. So that's dealing with justice. Now you got temperance. This is self-control, moderation, and action. And so I'm gonna get this real quick, because a lot of people they're angry, you know. They show forth their wrath, you know. So praying for temperance is a big thing. That's key. Now I want to get let me get this in Corinthians. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 12. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, and I'm gonna start at verse. No, that's not one. It's like I might be getting about let me see if I'm thinking about so like Proverbs. I had my precept backwards. Proverbs chapter 25. This is the book of Proverbs chapter 25 with temperance. And temperance is dealing with self-control. Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 28, and it reads, "He that had no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls." So you have to, have temperance to be able to control yourself. It's a lot of men that don't have the mindset to control themselves, and it can kind of get you off track. It can kind of put you in a position where everything that comes up in your mind, or everything that tempts you, you're not cutting it down, or you're not on another level, or another maybe mortifying them. You know, you have to mortify such things, and having control of that, cutting it down, cutting it off, casting it away, casting it out. You know, so if you don't have control of your spirit, hey, anything can to you, anything can overthrow you. So having fortitude, prudence, justice, and temperance, these are things that you should be praying, according to Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 7. So I'm gonna read this one more time. Proverbs chapter 25 and 28, and it reads, "He that had no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls." So you want to make sure you have a spiritual shield. You know, I want to get Romans real quick. Romans chapter 8. This is the book of Romans chapter, and I'm gonna start at verse. I'm gonna start at verse 13. Romans chapter 8 and verse 10, and it reads, "For if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die." So you don't want to just live after the flesh. Now you can't control yourself. You know, and it's nothing more worse than not being able to control yourself. And next thing you know, you're giving it to everything that comes about, as far as temptation. You know, and that's a very dangerous thing for a man, to be tempted with many things, and you just overthrown by them. You know, tempted in the flesh. You got thoughts in your mind. You can't get no peace. You know, you toss to and fro. Like James said, you're a double-minded man now. You know, wherever the wind take you, that's where you're going. You know, one year you over here, the next year you over here, the next month you over there, the next week you back there. You know, you don't have no foundation. So you have to check yourself. If you somewhat call yourself a king, you know, or if you striving to be a king, you know, and if you want to be in the same regards as the Lord, you know, Yahweh, in the name of his son, Yahweh Shah. So reading this again, Romans 8 and 13, and it reads, "For if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live." So I want to Colossians real quick, and I'm gonna wind down through the Spirit. This is Colossians chapter 3, and I'm gonna start at verse 5, and it reads, "Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry." So, hey, if you ever hear somebody try to say masturbating is not a sin, go to Colossians 3 and read that. It's going to tell you it's idolatry. You know, kings shouldn't be, you know, trying to seek pleasure, you know, trying to pleasure themselves. You know, either get you a woman, you know, or either you walk in the way of Paul, the apostle, as a eunuch, you know, and do things righteously and rightfully, you know. So you gotta have some self-control as a man, you know, and as a king, as an Israelite king, you know. So reading this again, Colossians 3 and 5, and even there's you. It's nothing, and I tell brothers this, you know, that may have this issue. There's nothing worse than having a problem. You're not trying to fix that problem. You know, you might have to your mind. You know, hey, you might have urges to deal with a harlot, or you might have some type of urge to smoke, or you might have an urge to, you know, gamble, or whatever you might be dealing with. You have to pray and ask the Lord to give you his strength and take away your weaknesses. You know, didn't he tell Paul in 1 Corinthians? Let me get this real quick. Where you were weak, that is where his grace is. It's in 2 Corinthians. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 9, and it reads, I'm going to get straight to the point. 2 Corinthians 12 and 9, and he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Mashiach may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, and reproaches, and necessities, and persecutions, and distresses, for Mashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. So just because you're weak, there's not an opportunity to just give into the flesh. You know, you got to have some self-control. Or not just only speaking on the pleasure. Even when you want to hit somebody upside the head, you might deal with another brother. You know, you might want to take it there. You know, y'all might have a disagreement. You know, you can't let your flesh get in the way and take you off the throne. And now the spiritual demon Satan grabbed you up and threw you out of the seat, and now he's sitting in the throne. And now every thought, everything that comes to your mind, every issue, you're ready to take it there. You know, instead of just, you know, making amends with your brother, forgiving your brother. You know, Psalms chapter 18, verse 25 on down. You're gonna get mercy as far as the mercy that you give out. You know, so if you're merciful to your brother, let me get that real quick. The Lord is going to be merciful to you. And this comes along with self-control. Because a lot of us, you know, we may struggle with controlling our mouths, controlling our tongues. And I also want to get another precept that just came to mind in Psalms 141. So this is Psalms chapter 18 and verse 25, and it reads, with the merciful thou wilt shew thyself merciful. With an upright man, thou wilt shew thyself upright. You see that? So you want the Lord to have mercy on you, guess what? You mercy on your brother, you know. So let me get this in Psalms 141. And I'm going to start at verse 3. Still touching on the last one, temperance. You having a self-control. You know, you can't allow those thoughts to be mastered. And now your thoughts done turn into actions. You know, now you once thought about, man, I want to knock my brother upside the head, man. You know, I can't believe he did that. Now you thought that, now your thoughts done turned into the actions. You can't do it. You gotta have some temperance, you know, as well as watching your mouth. So this is Psalms 141 and 3. Set a watch, O Lord Yahweh, before my mouth, keep the door of my lips. So as you head straight to Psalm chapter 8 and verse 7, ask the Lord to increase your spirit with temperance, prudence, justice, and fortitude. You know, apply these precepts and start reading these precepts. You know, ask the Lord to set a watch over your mouth, you know, and keep the door of your lips. You know, because like the Lord said, the tongue, there's power of life and death in the tongue. You know, so you open up your mouth and say something, hey, next thing you know, somebody in the grave, somebody in the dirt, and there's no way you can apologize or ask for forgiveness or ask that brother. You can't say Salaki when they're in the dirt, you know. So you can't allow your flesh to overtake. So 141 and verse 3 again. Set a watch, O Lord Yahweh, before keep the door of my lips. Incline not my heart to any evil thing, to practice wicked works with men that work iniquity, and let me not eat of their dainties. So wrapping this up, I'm going to get to the law. So Lord willing, this was edifying to you. You know, the foundation, you know, of a king. You know, this is Deuteronomy chapter 17, and I'm going to start at verse Deuteronomy chapter 17, and I want to start at verse 14. Deuteronomy 17 and 14, and it reads, when thou art come unto the land which the Yahweh thou most high God giveth thee, and shalt possess it, and shalt dwell therein, and shalt say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee. So you can't set a king over you that's not an Israelite, straight up and down. So what would that look like in today's society? You don't have any business voting for Donald Trump, you know. Neither do you have any business voting for Harris or any type of vice president or any type of political party. The only way you got business voting is if they're, you know. But in other regards, there's no Israelites in rulership right now in a high seat. So therefore, we not supposed to be voting at all. You know. So reading this again, Deuteronomy chapter 17 and verse 15. Thou shalt in any wise set king over thee, whom the Lord thy most high God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. What does that look like? That's a Judite, Benjamite, Levite, Ephraimite, you know, a Danite, Reubenite, Gadite, Issacharite, a Naphtali, you know, one from the 12 tribes. That's who you set king over you. But that's not going to come into the kingdom. That's not going to come until the Lord, the Messiah, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, return and establish his government. And it's going to be King David, you know, pertaining to Jeremiah chapter 30, verses 1 on down, you know, and many other verses, you know. So reading this again, but Yahweh Shah is going to be the top man, though. You know, it's not going to be anybody over the Messiah, you know. He's going to be the man on earth. You know, but he's not going to be doing things with his hands. He's not going to be, you know, walking around like Elon Musk and going to different factories. You know, hey, you're going to have the 12 apostles. You're going to have King David. You're going to have men giving word back to, let me get this precept real quick. I don't want to just butcher it. This is Matthew chapter 19. You know, so you're gonna have kings in the kingdom of heaven, you know, and everybody's gonna be in their rightful position. It's not gonna say, well, I'm a king, I tell you what to do because you know I got more rank than you. No, you know, the Lord is gonna have things in order. You know, this is Matthew chapter 19, and I'm gonna start at 28, and it reads, and Yahweh Shah said unto them. So like I'm gonna start at verse 27, Matthew 19 to 27. And it reads, then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have? What shall we have therefore? And Yahweh said unto them, verily I say unto you that ye have followed me in the regeneration when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory. Ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. What is that going to look like? That's going to be whoever's over, whether it be a city or a province. You know, Peter say, did you have those Edomites do this or do that? Did you have those Moabites do this and do that? Was there any problems? Okay, good. So it's going to be something to that nature. Let me get this in Luke real quick to back up what I just said. This is Luke. This is the parable of what the Lord spoke about. This is Luke. A lot of people don't understand these parables, you know. This is Luke. Let me see where I want to start at. This is Luke chapter 19, and I want to get straight to the point. Luke chapter 19 and verse 15, and it reads, and it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called unto him, to whom he had given the money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. Then saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained 10 pounds. And he said to him, well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, have thou authority over 10 cities. So the Lord is going to allow such men, according to the hope for the elect, to have authority over 10 cities, might be 5 cities, Which that 10 is not just only talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, it could be a completed amount. So they may have to report to one of the 12. You know, they may have to report to James. They may have to report to Peter. You know, so that's according to the kingdom of heaven. That's according to what the Lord is going to set up. Now, getting back to this in Deuteronomy, Slack, I want to get this quick precept right quick. This is let me see. This is Jeremiah chapter 30 through the Spirit. So King David, hey, he gonna be a king in the kingdom of heaven. This is Jeremiah chapter 30, and I want to start at verse 1. Jeremiah chapter 30, and King David is going to be under Yahweh Shah, the Messiah. This is Jeremiah chapter 30, and I want to start at verse 6. Salaki, I want to go up. Salaki, I want to go down. This is Jeremiah chapter 30, and I want to start at verse 8. Jeremiah 30 and 8, and it reads, "For it come to pass in that day, said the Lord, Yahweh of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him, but they shall serve the Lord, Yahweh their most high God, and David their king, whom I will raise unto them." You see that? So King David, he's going to be in the kingdom of heaven under Yahweh Shah. You know, now I want to get Ezekiel. Let me get this in Ezekiel. The Most High is going to have order. To get Isaiah chapter 9. This is Ezekiel chapter 37, and I'm going to start at Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 24. Because the Lord is going to have order. You know, just like you got governors here, you know, this world gets stuff from the Bible. You got a governor in this city, you got a governor in that city, you know. You got a president, you know, you got a vice president. So the kingdom of heaven is going to be on a righteous scale. Way better than what America do their wickedness with. This is Ezekiel 37 and verse 24, and it reads, "And David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they, and their children, and their children's children, forever. And servant David shall be their prince forever." Now, you can't get around that. Let me get this in Isaiah real quick, and then we're going to do Deuteronomy before we close out. This is Isaiah chapter 9, and I'm going to start at verse 6. Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 6, and it reads, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and government shall be upon his shoulders." Now, this also goes into, you know, how it's going to be a mindset, as well as it's going to be an order as well. "And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the peace of his government and peace there shall be no end on the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. The zeal of the Lord Yahweh of hosts will perform this." So, the Messiah, he gonna be the man. He gonna be the top man. There's not gonna be anybody above the Most High Yahweh. There's not gonna be anybody above Yahweh Shah on the earth. You know, under him is gonna be King David, and then you got the 12. And then you got the 144,000 that you read about in Revelation. 12,000 from each tribe, according to the governing body. That's going to be, you know, the top men. So, not trying to make this a a lesson on that, but just bringing out some quick, going back to Deuteronomy chapter 17 before we close out. So this is Deuteronomy 17 and going back to verse 15, Deuteronomy 17 and 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord Yahweh, thy most high God, shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a king, so like thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not a brother. So you can't have no Edomite over you, no Moabite, no Ammonite, no Amalekite, no Girgazite, no Egyptian. You can't have no Hamite, no night. Can't have nobody over you except an Israelite, so-called black, Hispanic, or a native Seminole Indian descent. So verse 16, Deuteronomy 17, but he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt, to the end that he shall multiply horses, for as much as the Lord had said unto you, ye shall turn no more that way. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away. Neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. You see that? So this is the foundation of a king, you know. So Lord willing, this is edifying to you. Fisherman of Zion, Shabbat Shalom. Continue to strive and endure in these last days, and continue to abound and grow and get built up to the best of your ability. Brother Jose, all glory and honor to Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shah. Call her Yahweh by Shema Mashak Yahweh Shah. Shabbat Shalom.